All right. So we're going to do a little bit of a nighttime scene here. We decide exactly what, but as usual, we'll figure it out as we go. So let's do. We'll start off with a 1-inch brush and some liquid clear. It's a black canvas. It's got 3 coats of black gesso on it. I make my own gesso. Pretty easy to make. Takes a little bit of experimentation, mostly just to make sure that you get it stirred well enough. But that recipe is on in my video file. So if you look under that playlist for our topics, you'll find it in there. So, so let's continue on here. This probably, today is December the 21st, and this will probably be the last painting I do for 2020. But who knows when it'll show up on YouTube. Alright. I'm just wiping that back. We don't want it to be too slick, because if we do, the paint will just slide down the page. Alright. So I think I'll make like a little bit of a nighttime scene, some stars, some trees, maybe a lake. I don't know, we'll see. So let's start off with some Indian yellow. I'll be using probably several different types of paint, brands of paint. It's all oil paint, but just want to flatten this out on the palette. All right. Let's just kind of and this kind of arch across the sky like this. I want it to be too straight lined across there. Make it kind of curvy. Like that. All right. Let's get some alizarin crimson. And again, we'll flatten that out. This is also Bob Ross paint. I said that it might be my last painting this month, but I don't know if I could let my paint sit on my palette that long. I'm not going to clean the brush. I'm just going to add some of this alizarin crimson in here. I'm not quite touching the yellow in most places, but I don't know how well you can see that. It's kind of a rainbow shape. All right, let's add some, I don't know, phthalo blue. How about some phthalo blue? This is Gamblin phthalo blue, but I've got another tube that's already open, so let's use that. So this is Grumbacher Academy phthalo blue. I just had another idea, so before we get going with that, let me just go ahead and spread it out. Let's take this red and kind of now I'm going to clean the brush because I'm going back into the yellow for a second. I don't know how much of this is going to show up, but we do put some water down here. Some of that might show up, so let's just kind of Now there's going to be trees along in here, so I'm not going to really bother to try to get the alizarin and crimson all the way around this way. Okay, enough for that. Now I clean the brush again because I'm going into Phthalo Blue. So if I took that Phthalo Blue into the Indian yellow, or the Indian yellow into Phthalo Blue, we'd end up with like probably some phthalo green, a little bit of shade of phthalo green. All right, let's pick up this blue, let's put it in the rest of the sky. And we'll start some lighting of the sky. Not too much though, because it's going to be mostly black. But in order to make that show up right, we're gonna. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's put a little bit. I think there's going to be ground stuff over here, but alright. Man, I have a sore finger. And I got some of that Arlos paint thinner in it, and a cut on my hand. It's smarting big time. All right, let's pick up some white now. I'm just going to keep using this same brush for now. I kind of filled the brush up, not with a lot of paint, but enough. And then let's just kind of. I don't want there to be brush strokes in it, so I'm just going to kind of, yeah, that's going to show up. So let's just kind of, now right now I'm working on just the center. And now, let's work on this part. Now we're just going to kind of put a little bit more white on this. We're going to kind of pull this into the middle. And now we're going to kind of start working it out to the edges into this color. And I don't want to put much white out here in the sky. I just want to carry with what I got. So I want to lighten that. I want to bring that blue up out of that black, but not much. Bring just a little bit of white into this. I want to pull up a little bit of green right in the edge of that edge up there, and a little bit of it down here. Which means that where I've got the blue, I want the yellow to come together. Alright, now it's coming together. Of course, all this down here is going to be water, so we don't want to too much going on in there. Okay. Alright. Okay, that's got this guy kind of set up. The background anyway. And we're going to put this brush away, get a dry brush out. We're going to blend it a little bit more. Okay, now this part right here is just a little bit too symmetrical. So we're going to bring a little bit more of this red and kind of pull it up into this cloud a little bit like that. Maybe even a little bit more. There we go. Like that. That's good. Just to break that up a little bit. Alright, that looks good. Alright. Let's clean that brush. And from there, we're going to advance into doing the stars. Before we start doing anything else, just putting all the foreground stuff in. Alright, so we're going to go get some liquid white. I need to stir that up. Probably should have stirred it before I started the video. Since I didn't know what I was really going to paint, it's kind of hard to do. Alright. Now, make sure, if you do have to stir up your liquid white, make sure you do a pretty good job, because if you leave a lot of the oil laying on the top, it's going to make your stars run on the canvas. You might not want that. You might want it, but you might not want it. Got a little bit of yellow on my hand, on my finger here, so we're going to use some baby wipes. Just clean that off before I get it all over my brush. Okay, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of blue, a little bit of white. A little bit of this. Okay, a little bit of every color I've put on the canvas so far. It's all over my hand somehow. But this baby wipe will get it off. All right, well, most of it. Let's try a second. All right, that's coming together pretty good. I'm kind of happy with that. It's really good practice for practice to paint some backgrounds and then just let them sit, and then come back and do some foreground to go on it. It works pretty cool. So if you guys should try that sometime. I'm just thumping out some liquid white here on this brush, making sure all of the bristles are splayed out. Now I don't have a lot of paint on here, but I have quite a bit. So now we're going to go right through the center here, and then kind of out here, some other stars, but not quite as so many. All right, some in the red, not too much. All right, that's plenty of stars. Okay. So now I have paint on my finger. I'll just clean that off real quick. Now we'll start working on some other stuff. Let's put that. I don't think we'll need the liquid white again. We might, but I'll put it away for right now. And again, I got paint all over my hands. I think in 2021, I'm going to promise to myself and use gloves all the time. I keep forgetting, but Maybe we'll manage to talk myself into it. Okay, let's get some other colors going. Start off with some sap green. I got some blue on the palette, so I may stick with that. I got some red on the palette, so I may stick with that. I'll put a pretty good size sap green on here because I have a lot of sap green to work with. And I'll probably use like a yellowish white in these trees. So, but let's start off with the number 3 fan brush. Let's get some. Let's use some burnt. Let's not use burnt umber. Let's use Van Dyke Brown. So I'm just going to put some Van Dyke Brown down on the thing. I'm not going to flatten it because I'm just going to kind of scoop some off the pile as I go. But what we're going to do is we're going to mix sap green with the blue and the red. And I just mix those on opposite sides of the brush and then take them over to the brown and mix all that together, and you get a nice black color. All right, let's start putting some trees in here. Let's see, I want it to come. All right. I don't have a good edge on the brush, so I'm just kind of redoing it. There we go. All right. I'll tell you what, let's do something a little different. We could like do the trees coming out this way, which is what I was thinking originally, but I think I've changed my mind. Let's kind of build something over this way. I want these trees in silhouette, though. I'm going to keep those in silhouette, but blue, red, green, brown. And then right about here, I'm just going to mark it right here. And on this side, now here, depending on how many stars you have, you may wrestle a little bit with the trees, just because you got some liquid white on the canvas. Don't struggle with it too hard, though. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. Now, don't try to make all of your trees all symmetrical. They're not like that in real life, so don't try to do it on your painting either. All right, let me fill in a few trees here. I'll flatten that side of the brush for some reason. There we go. All right, so right now we got some trees like floating in the sky. And that's nice, but that's not really. All right, now, so on this side, I've got to get that laid in there. So let's just kind of pick up some white in another fan brush, just a touch of blue. There we go. Okay. And then let's come on this side. All right, I'm probably going to narrow this one up. It's a little too wide for what I think I want to do, but that's easy enough to shorten up. We can just kind of take this little paint eraser, just kind of wipe some of that off. And then we'll take and put another tree or two in there. And then let's put another one on this side. Okay, now originally we had the sky all down in this part. We're going to use that as, we can't really put shoreline there because we've got waterfalls cascading off, right? So we'll figure out some more with that in a minute. All right, so let's just so now I'm keeping these trees a little bit far apart because I want them to sort of, show the stars coming in behind. Plus, I think sometimes people get a little too carried away closing their trees up. There's no place for the birds to sit. Gotta have a place for my birds. All right. All right. Let's leave that for now. And let's come back on this side and maybe bring another waterfall. down this way. Okay. All right. So now this side I already figured out what I'm going to do here. So let's take up some blue, some red, some green, a little bit of brown. Let's put a big tree right here. Maybe a couple. We'll see. Okay. Okay. Let's take this tree and bring it all the way down on that side. And then let's go ahead and bring this tree, bring all these trees. Okay, now. This is, to me, is like some of the most fun things to do is just try to figure out, what you're going to do here. Things like this. So let's take this tree. Let's make a tree here and have it come all the way down. Now, I got a little bit carried away right there, so let's go back and fix this a little bit. So we can just take the paint eraser right here. So I'm going to take this back off. I got a little bit carried away right there. Yeah, I don't want to use that. That's sometimes the baby wipes, there's a little bit of mineral oil in there, and it can kind of work up. But we'll just take a paper towel here and rub this back. All right, here we go. That looks pretty good. As long as I'm wiping. Put some more paint down there in a minute. All right, back to the white. That looks pretty good. Okay. So we've left hints that there's a big, giant river way up in behind these trees. It's just dumping water to be like crazy. Put a little bit of blue into this. Like that. Maybe a little bit of blue into this one too. Add some shadows like that. All right. Back to this darker color, sap green and all that stuff. You can do this with a 1-inch brush if you want. Probably might be, I don't know, it depends. Whatever brush you're comfortable with. Do it with a filbert, do it with whatever. Okay. We'll add some more trees and stuff in a minute, but stand by. Okay, so now originally we had this guy, coming all the way down this corner. Anticipation of putting some trees that are in like a V shape. Laying a leg out in between that. Didn't really want to do that. Decided not to do that. Okay, so now we got this darkened, all darkened in and laid out. Let's start changing it around a little bit, just to make it a little special. Let's put another tree right here. Okay, now we're going to pick up a different brush, I think. Let's get a different fan brush. Let's pick up some yellow liquid, a little bit of liquid white and some yellow. So it's kind of bright, and let's kind of okay. One more liquid white, one more yellow, and then let's just kind of add a little bit of highlight, just a little bit of highlight. Don't want much highlight at all. Now, along this water line, we want to pull up some of this dark, just like that. So it's uneven. I was thinking about putting another tree in there, but I don't think I need one over there. So let's just kind of... Now I do want to do this. I want to pick up some... Let's see how this works out. There's a little bit of a reverse tree line there. That's not even what I meant to say. Reversed shadow, reflected light kind of shadow. Now we could put a whole row of trees in here, but I just don't even really care about doing that. So let's just some bushes in here. And put some water lines in too, and that'll help with that. Okay, and I think with that, real quick light, we're getting close to being done. And let's add some water lines. We'll be done with this. I'm just really happy with the way that came out. Alright, clean that brush. Pick up a knife. Too big a knife. My little knife. There it is. Pick up some titanium white. Now we could even swipe that knife off. Let's pick it back up. It's a little more titanium white. We'd actually add a little bit of sparkle to this. Like that. Now, in adding that, made me want to add something else. So let's go back. Let's pick up a little bit of yellow, I think. A little bit of this yellow and a little bit of white. There we go. All right, and I think with that, I'm going to call this one done. Guys, if you have any questions about this, be sure to leave them in the comments. Hope you'll like and subscribe. We'll be starting some giveaways in January. So if you'd like to win a painting, it's a good time, good place to do it. So hope you guys are having a Merry Christmas, and we will see you on the next one.